Jordan was here in that chair talking a lot about God. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. And like many of us, we're sometimes brought up with a bit of an aversion sometimes to people being overly religious. But when you listen to Jordan talk more, he's talking about stories in the Bible, and you're like, why is this guy talking about the Bible? And he said, the Bible, it's the stories in the Bible are in our DNA. They're basically just lessons for life. And so sometimes he talks about God, but he's really talking about channeling higher levels of energy, which is what all humans want to do, can do, aspire to do. And if you look at it that way, it's an incredible tool that you can tap into, and something I've played with over the years and have been playing with a lot lately, and it's powerful.
Do you know, I went to a religious school, they were like, okay, RE, religious education, you've got to go in. And I remember I was very disruptive at school, I was very poorly behaved. And I'd be reading stuff, and I'd be like leaning back on my chair, and I'd say to people, I was like, this is bollocks,
Like, he's walking on water? What are you talking about?
I was like, I've just done physics, lads, and this don't add up, so I'd have fun with it. So then I found myself moving towards like atheism. Then I found myself like moving towards like trying to convince people that and I don't know why I was doing this when I was younger, but like, let's say I was sat with a Christian fellow mate, someone who was going to church on a Sunday. I would say things that, kind of looking back now, were disrespectful. I go, let's pick 5 religions. We've got all 5 of them here. If one of them's right, 80% of you are wrong. It's not good odds, But now looking back to it, after doing psychedelics, although I had many discoveries and epiphanies or whatever, I was left with, there's something. And that was enough to push me more towards maybe an agnostic. And that was a big eye-opener for me. And I was like, I'm not sure what it is, but there's something. And now, even as a science-based person, when I look at the universe, the Big Bang, creation of life, all of these things, I actually went through a phase of knowing a little bit, probably like a Dunning-Kruger effect. Then I realized, there can't be anything there. But now I'm at the other end of it with years to reflect on it. It is very incredible to think there's something.
Wait till you get even older. There'll be something. And I think your religious experiences for a lot of people in this world, especially grew up in like our time where maybe it was forced down your throat. You rejected it at first. It didn't make sense. You pushed back on it. But then the older you get, you're like, wait a second, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a reason. I think religion is just technology for humans. Maybe there's a reason that they talk about these stories and these lessons. Maybe it makes us a better society. Maybe there are some things we can't observe with our 5 senses. Maybe there are some other powers and things. So it gets you to open your mind up a little bit. And then, a psychedelic experience can change that. Or sometimes a meditative experience can also change that. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on out there. But there's something more happening than just what they teach you in physics class. I've got Richard Dawkins here tomorrow. And this is a guy that wrote The God Delusion. And he would reject everything that we're talking about right now. Everything is down to the science. There's no higher power. So it's always interesting to hear people like that. People have said to Richard, smoke some DMT and you'll disagree. But I don't think he's taken anybody up on that challenge.
I could be wrong, but isn't he at the forefront of talking about how soon even the matter that hold our thoughts together will be expanded to the point that thoughts won't exist, light won't exist, the photons will be pulled apart. So he's kind of a bit of a pessimist with the outcome of the universe. He's like, we won't be alive then, but soon everything we know as matter will be torn apart and sucked into black holes. And,
atheism is quite pessimistic.
But I think that even exactly like you say, you'd be like, okay, cool, I fully respect your decision. We're going to get you DMT in a vape. You're going to have 4 puffs, and then let's just see if there's a change of mind. But then again, I'm trying to convert someone to what I see my reality of the universe being like. But it's interesting. I think that I would love it. It's obviously a ludicrous idea that everyone should have some type of psychedelic experience. Obviously, I don't think everyone benefits from it. But when I look at the world and the way it is, and I see like violence and malice and all of these things, I think if I was to look back at someone said to me a couple of days ago, they're like, you're a different person to 3 years ago, you've really matured. And when I was looking at like the key steps of maturation, seeing the world differently, I even decided I want to have kids on a mushroom trip. And I was like, people will hear this and go, what James is talking about is an illegal substance, it's controlled. This is, not good. I've always been open. I think honesty is a very important thing with this thing. But I was like, these net decisions have made me a better person. I started drinking less after one trip. I decided I want to have kids after another. I decided that I had a really introspective conversation with some friends, and I started thinking to myself, it's very important that I do well in life. You know, I look at my social media following that's growing, I look at my businesses, I look at financial freedom I'm very privileged that I earn more than I spend. And I joke with my friends, I'm like, that makes us wealthy. It doesn't matter if you've got $1 million in the bank or whatever. But one part of me on a psychedelic trip said, what's going to impress your parents more? Bringing home a Ferrari or a family? And the voice in my head said to me, don't get to the end of your life and don't win the wrong races. And I was like, wow, I was like, Jesus, there are races here that, you know, are tied to being a good parent or, you know, being a good partner or all of these things. And I was like, at the end of the day, having the most money and the most followers isn't going to be the race that really is going to be rewarding. And I was like, wow. And I went away from that and I thought about my work-life balance and everything. And it's crazy that I'm grateful to a substance that's controlled and frowned upon using. Whereas I actually have a relationship with alcohol where I'm like, I know this is destructive. I know this isn't good for me. I know this doesn't make me feel good. And it's just crazy that the narratives that exist around these things, even bringing people closer to a God, is illegal. But then again, I'm a personal trainer who's had mushrooms a few times. I'm not a Richard Dawkins or anyone like this.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?